What you guys, got another video here for you. In this one we're going to be looking at cold calling, nuisance calls, scam calls, and we're going to be covering this and showing you how to protect yourself and how you can stop it. So some of the most common cold calling or scams that they will do when they contact you are your Microsoft scam, which they will pretend to be from Microsoft, and they will try to get you to engage with them and pretend they are from Microsoft, obviously. And then obviously this is just going to be a cold call. This isn't going to be a pop-up on your computer. This is where they just cold call people from call centers like this one. So these call centers are global. They're all around the world. They're not just in India, but basically they will concentrate on a particular type of scam, and then once that place becomes a bit too hot, they will move on to a new location. And they've only got a table, a computer and a phone, and that's all they need. And they've got a bunch of people in there, and they will start cold calling people. Now what they're looking for is i.e. bank scams. They might be saying they're from your bank, and they will try to get your PIN number and also your passwords and stuff like that, and try to convince you that they're from the bank. Computer repair scams, i.e. Microsoft, they will pretend that you've got a virus on your system. It's been flagged on their network. It could be compensation calls where they'll say that you've got a genuine compensation owing to you and we need your details and stuff like that. It could be HMRC, which is your tax refund, or IRS or something like that, and they'll say you've got money owing to you and they need to get details from you to make this payment to you and stuff like that, and it's just a scam. So it could be marketing scams, lottery wins, some sort of lottery, you've been picked at random to receive a large payment. It's a process that they'll go through. They've got their old spiel they use on you. Could be even the stock exchange, which is another one, penny stocks and stuff like that. They will bid on them, make you win, and then they will try to get you to indulge more money, and then of course they will just disappear with your money. So pension investments, any sort of investment scams and stuff like that, these are another type of cold call that you will receive. And these are the general common types of cold calling which you can receive in the UK or anywhere around the world. So you don't want to be giving people out your information at all. Okay. Now the 6 common scam call tricks they will use are, they will come across and they will seem to know you. That's their first thing that they will try to do. They will talk to you as if they know you. They've got some sort of a bond with you, that they're familiar with who you are, and this will help convince you that they are genuine. Another thing they do is number 2, which is they will use apologetic language. So they approach the situation where they would say they are very sorry for calling you and wasting your time, but we just need to get some information and blah blah blah. And this is what they will do, and this normally generally makes you feel a little bit more sympathetic towards that person. The third thing they try to do is try to build up a bond with you, and to give you some sort of belief in that this call is real and legitimate, and this is building up a layer of authenticity to their call, and this will take time. So what they will do is they be very patient, and this will build up the trust between the two of you, and this is how they start to make it sound like and convince you that it's a legitimate call. And another thing they do is number 4, which they would come across and be some sort of authority figure, which would be something like a fraud squad or something like that, where they would say someone has attempted to take money from your account, and they would need your bank details to clarify who you are, and then they can put a stop on this and stuff like that. So they're tricking you into thinking they're from the fraud squad or police office, where there'd be a police officer or something like that, or maybe it's something else like a lottery winning head office or something like that, and they need details from you before they can release the money. Now number 5, what they generally do is, if you have some sort of dubious concern about the call, what they would do is use skepticism, and this is a tactic where they would take advantage of you by welcoming all the concerns that you have, and they take these on board, and of course they would just reassure you that they are genuine concerns, and they are good to have those genuine concerns, and that they are generally from the bank. And this sometimes pulls you in. They may even say that you can call the bank if you want to. We are your bank. And of course what this will do is like a reverse psychology. This will then suddenly think, oh, they must be real because he's asking me to ring my bank. So they're using it against you, and of course really they're not from your bank. It's just the sort of reverse psychology, and making you feel that they are from your bank. And finally, number 6, which will be the most common trick they will use when they call you, is switching up the tempo. So they would start out really aggressive and be increased pressure on you, and they will say there isn't a lot of time, we need to act quickly, and this will give you some sort of feel of urgency. And what they're trying to do is put pressure on you to make you act quickly before you have time to think. And normally this is what they do. Now what happens sometimes is some people don't like being pressured, and they would start becoming a little bit more dubious about what's going on. And what that will do, and this goes back to number 5, which is your scepticism, which is where you start to feel a little bit dubious about the call. But what they will tend to do, if that is the case, they will decrease the amount of pressure, and they can sometimes switch tempos by sending a woman on. So if this is a man talking to you and you feel a bit more aggressive towards him, they will bring a woman on, and that sometimes it eases you down and brings you back in. It's like a car salesman when he's trying to sell you a car. If he feels that he's putting too much pressure on you, sometimes they give you something, i.e. like a little discount, and that makes you feel better and pulls you back in. So they might say take $1,000 off. He's not really giving you $1,000. He'll claw that back in another way. So this is basically what they do, and these are the most 6 common tricks that they will use to convince you that the call is real. So basically cold calling is someone who is calling you when you didn't ask for the call, and if it was someone of importance, i.e. your bank, or if you've got money, they would write to you and let you know. No one calls you by the phone to tell you you've won £800,000 or $500,000 or whatever it is. You're not going to get that. The IRS are not going to call you by phone and hope they're going to keep you in and say that you've got money owing to you. They're going to write to you and say, we've looked at your account and we found that there is money owing to you. Could you fill out this form and stuff like that? Most of these people are just hoping to catch a fish on the other end, a fresh fish, and basically what they're going to do is hook you, and once they got you hooked, they would then take you for as much money as they can, and they would just disappear into the night with your hard-earned cash. And that's what these scammers are after. Now you may be saying to yourself that this would never happen to me, and you should never say never, because sometimes we all feel a bit vulnerable at times, and you just don't know how convincing a con artist could be. Some of these people are very skilled at working their magic, and you've only got to look at, say, someone like Kevin Mitnick, who used to use social engineering skills to get what he wanted online, and he went down as being one of the biggest hackers of all time. And he used social engineering skills and cold calling people and trickstering them and making them feel like he was that person, and that's what he did. Now let's talk about how you can protect yourself. You can protect yourself using services like telephone preference services, which is TPS. These are a service which you can register up to, and what it will do is it will give you the chance to opt out of any marketing calls that will come your way. And if you haven't opted out from these, then it gives them free rein to call you. They will just call you constantly. But if you've opted out of it, they can't. They're not legally allowed to do it, and they will be breaking the law. So it's a great way to start. And you can also contact your phone company, whether you're with BT or Virgin, and ask them to take you off their list, their registered list, which is they'll put you into a directory. You don't want to be in their directory because that's how they get you as well. So take yourself out of that. And also, if your number has been used before by some sort of company and that person's been a bad debtor, then obviously that number's been used before, which they do use numbers. You may want to change your number. But the telephone preference service will block a lot of that stuff, and that will be the first port of call. They also do a mail preference service, which is another type of service which you can sign up to, which is government based, which will block any sort of junk and spam mail that will come through your door. Putting stickers on your door also helps, saying no junk mail, no cold callers, anything like that, no hawkers. Just put that on the door and it tends to drive them away. And that's another thing you can do. And these, I'll leave the links for these in your video description, so you can check them out and give these to your parents and get them to join up to them, and that basically will stop a lot of that from happening. Another thing you can do is purchase yourself an advanced call blocking phone. Now this is a corded one, so if you want the wireless one, I'll show that in a second. But basically these block 100% of nuisance calls, and it's a real great technology, these particular types of phones. If you want to stop any sort of nuisance calls coming in, especially if you've got elderly parents and stuff like that and they're getting bombarded by PPI and other types of stuff, then you may want to use something like this. And what it will do is it builds up a database of numbers, like a whitelisting and blacklisting service, and you can basically blacklist any sort of area code that uses known spam numbers, and you can use that to block all those, and that they would soon, after about a week, you'll start seeing dwindling. Where you used to get, say, 10 a day, they will dwindle down, and eventually you will get none a day, and it will stop, and it will give you so much more peace of mind. So something small like that can make a big difference, and there's a big number on there saying block. You can either block it straight away, and you can also talk to that person. As soon as you know they're a spam caller, block them, and that number will not be able to get through again. Now another one you can do is this one here, which is a single phone, but if you want the quad phone, there's 4, and there's also a trio, and they do a twin as well. So depending on how many phones you want, they obviously go up in price the more you want, and you can use this. And this will be another one. These are wireless, you can use them around the house. These are the ones I've got, and they work very well, and it just blocks any sort of marketing calls. And all they'd be talking to is a bot. Basically, if you've got Call Guardian on, it will just say you're talking to a bot, and they would have to give their name, and it would then come through to you. And bots can't talk, so basically they won't be able to, it's a recorded message, so they won't be able to get through. So that's another great way of blocking nuisance calls, bots and stuff like that. Another thing which you can use is something like this, which is a call blocker, which goes between your line and your phone. Let me just show you a picture here. As you can see, it will go through there, and you can see there's a big block now button. It's great for the elderly people that don't want to talk to anyone. If they see the number up on that screen that they don't recognize, and they've not got any appointments or anything like that, they can either block it straight away, or they can pick it up, listen to that person once, and then block it, and they won't be able to get through ever again. And it's a great way to block those particular types of calls, and they're very easy to use, and that's it, they won't get through. So another thing, I'll leave these two links in the description for you, which are for Virgin Media and also BT. If you're in the UK, you can check up your own stuff in the other countries like America. I'm pretty sure they've got the same sort of services available to you out there, but basically gives you the same sort of tips I'm giving you here, and you can follow through these, and this will give you some much more peace of mind, especially X directory and stuff like that. It's very easy to do, it takes seconds to set up, and submit all your stuff to the TPS and MPS, and you should see a big reduction in cold calls and stuff like that. Also BT have one here as well, which gives you a breakdown of everything that I've been talking about, and you can go through here and set off a list of, and get your parents, especially if they're elderly, get them safe and stop them from having to deal with nuisance calls from say fake Microsoft or banking and stuff like that, and gives them that peace of mind. Okay, now I know this has been quite a long video and there's not been much action, but I know a lot of you guys like to see prank calls and stuff like that, people calling people, but I take a more serious approach to content, i.e. giving you content to stop this from happening, rather than create content that is scamming the scammers basically and wasting their time, but it's also wasting your time. And I'd rather spend my time giving you knowledge and information that will help someone stopping getting scammed. So that's my outtake on all of these videos. Yes, I know they're not as entertaining as calling a scammer, but at the end of the day, it's getting the point across that actually helps people. So I try to give as much information in this video rather than waste my time calling scammers and you know, not achieving anything. If this video gets seen by a bunch of people, then what that's going to do is obviously give that person information, knowledge, and stop them from getting scammed. So that's the reason why I do this particular type of content, calling tech support scammers and wasting their time, and also wasting my time, which is more important to me. Now also what I want to do here is, if I'm wasting their time and wasting my time and achieving nothing at the end of the day, whereas they're going to continue to scam people, whereas this video, if I save one person from being scammed, then this video has achieved a lot more than what it would have done if I wasted my time calling tech support scammers. And this channel has been created to help people instead of creating content which is funny to watch, because obviously you're scamming a tech support scammer, but at the end of the day you're getting loads of views, but then you're not helping anyone whatsoever by creating that content. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. My name is Brian from brightechcomputers.co.uk. Thanks again for watching, guys, and thanks for your continued support. Hope this one helps you out. Bye for now. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the big red subscribe button on my YouTube channel and hit the bell notification button next to that to be notified when we upload new videos.